Okay, we are live. Hello, I am Eric Klopper, hashtag or at Attorney Klopper, and we are day number 17 in a row, 17 days in a row promoting the Intact Global Conference. I don't have my hat, but I do have the t-shirt, Intact Global, and it is Intact Global's conference, March 29 to 31. Dylan, great to see you. Hello, Dylan. Actually, today, although it's kind of ironic because the swag bags are sold out, so it doesn't really matter. But I have the canvas bag with me, baby, the one I've been hawking for 17 days in a row. It's actually a solid bag. And if you get your ticket now, you won't get one because all of the swag bags are sold out. And the Founders Dinner is sold out as well. But we have great numbers. And I picked out all the catering. I have a great conference manager who's helping me manage all the logistics, Justin. So thank you, Justin. Well, actually, thank you. This is a huge operation, right? We got a lot of people who have shown out for this. So anyway, yeah, things are excellent. As John says, we are getting close. We're getting close. No, we're getting close. Yeah. So woohoo, Buick. Yes. Corey, great to see you. Hi, everybody. Yeah, we've got great numbers already, and we still got 3 weeks to go, right? So I feel really good about everything. I thought the event was going to be a success, but now to see that it is, it's really coming together. I feel really good about it. Yeah, and so I look forward to meeting many of you on the stream here. Many people who aren't on the stream are going to be here. We're still promoting locally in Portland, Swiss Alps. Just bought your ticket tonight. Hell yeah. Great to hear it. Excuse my expletive, YouTube, if that is an expletive. As Carlton says, I am so hyped for the end of this month. Likewise, we're getting started, baby. I mean, yeah, this movement has got a lot of grassroots. It's got a lot of support, but the coordination and the execution lacking. It's like, what are we doing? What is the movement? Where are we going? Well, we're suing the state of Oregon on constitutional grounds, really challenging the constitutionality of male genital cutting, especially considering the fact that female genital cutting is outright illegal federally and in most states, including Oregon, and we're challenging the Oregon law, not the federal law. So the clickable link for the conference is below right here, intact.global/org or intactglobal.org/events/2025-intact-global-conference. But yeah, click that link, especially if you're on YouTube. You should be able to click on that and go straight to the ticket links. We still have early bird tickets, although the swag bags are sold out, which is okay. Rachel, I appreciate that. Never met you, but so proud. Well, thank you. This was not an easy journey, right? And obviously, we haven't won yet, but now we're taking the fight very seriously. And, we intend to win, right? We intend to win in Oregon, and we intend to win in subsequent states. I know one of the conference attendees wants to sue Minnesota, and another conference attendee is licensed attorney in Minnesota, and he'll be giving a presentation, Zenas. So, maybe that will be the next state, right? Or maybe the next state will be Colorado or Washington or Massachusetts or Florida or Texas or you name it, right? So there's a lot of states, 41 states who would qualify for this type of constitutional challenge. And we'll sue as many as public support permits, right? And right now, public support is permitting Oregon big time. Right? We're bringing this fight to Oregon. It's got a great social, let's say, environment for this, right? They march to their own drum. They really want to protect children. They have very low rates of circumcision. They don't fund circumcision with state Medicaid dollars. And yeah, it's not, there's no particular, religious bent there on mutilating infants. So it's as good a state as any to start. And there were 6 states that I really wanted to start in, and this was one of them. And, we've got the great lead plaintiff, Dane Hadachek. I just spoke with him for a half hour. He's doing great. And then also his parents are plaintiffs, spoke with his mother earlier. We got the Moody brothers, who are also plaintiffs, and they are excellent. And so we've got very strong plaintiffs, very committed to protecting children from this type of harm. And although they did suffer harm from the unconstitutional nature of the sex discrimination that is on its face in the statutory scheme in Oregon and the anti-FGM statutes. Literally in the name of the statute, it only protects females. And it's good to protect females, but it's not good to only protect females. We want to equally protect all children. It's a very easy message to understand. It's very timely. It's constitutionally coherent. So yeah, that's the plan. So anyway, we are going to, so as Brother K says, Bloodstained Men will be in Minnesota and the Dakotas for 9 days in May. Well, maybe we coordinate a lawsuit if we can get one off the ground by then. Depends on, actually getting the plaintiff and the lawyer and finishing the complaint and getting the funding. It's totally doable, but our lead plaintiffs right now, they have to be of a certain age to have suffered harm because of the anti-FGM statute, because of the discriminatory nature. So if you were circumcised before the anti-FGM statute was enacted, well, maybe you could be a plaintiff, but you can't be the lead plaintiff because it would be a coherent legal argument to say, look, even if the anti-FGM statute discriminates on the basis of sex, there's no statute that could have been passed in the year 2000 that would have protected you if you were circumcised in 1999 or earlier, right? So, age, unfortunately, is a factor in bringing these challenges, just so, they're not kicked on any technicalities. Now, you can definitely kick a lot of lawsuits on technicalities if they, even if they don't hold water, and then it's up to the appellate courts whether or not they want to deal with this or not. We got some more people joining on Instagram. Haram, great to see you. Yes, as Brother K, you are a tireless hero, tireless and a hero. Great to see you. People very happy, including me, that you're here. Welcome to day 17, right? I am a tired bean. And so Rachel Suhu, great to see you. Great to see you again. Carlton, it's my pleasure. Thanks for your service as well, Ocean Birth. Yes, Ocean Birth is phenomenal. She's going to be at the conference as well. And so this is day 17 of promoting the conference. We're going to go through. We updated the website today. We updated some of the offerings, and not in the, there's more offerings, but they've been sold out, a lot of the options, which is great. I'm like stoked. And we still got 3 weeks to go, and we're pushing in local ads, and we're really calling in at all the stops. It's going to be well attended, and it's going to be well catered. Trust me, I picked all the menus, and it looks great. I am so hungry because I've been just picking delicious food for a while, and I haven't eaten. So anyway, so let's take a look. Brother K, here's the event. I hope it's clickable. If you click that, that's in Minnesota. I cannot click it on my stream. In the OBGY convention in Minneapolis, which makes a lot of sense because they're one of the biggest offenders. But yeah, so let's take a look at what's going on in Portland, Oregon, March 29 to 31. I had to think about that only because I am a tired individual, but I got a lot of work done, worked 8 hours with my paralegal today, a lot of social media. Anyway, so if you go to intact.global/conference, what happens when you go there, and I will share my screen, I'm going to walk with you through the updates, especially with those of you who've been joining the streams consistently. You might see various different things. I mean, I ran reports today. I was like, God damn, we got a lot of tickets sold. It's going to be, if we had as much tickets sold as we did in 3 weeks, I would be pleased. But we still have 3 weeks. We may have a full house, right? That's epic. It's epic. Great support. And, this is a movement whose time has come. So, in a way, it's not surprising. And I appreciate all you showing up and supporting. This is about protecting our children who are being born every day, literally having parts of their bodies torn off of them, like in a horrific manner that maims them immediately and for the rest of their life. It is total lunacy that we have to do this, but we will do it. And anyway, we're doing it big time, like all out, all in, right? So anyway, this is the conference page. I'll walk through some updates. So it's 2025 Intact Global's first conference, March 29 to 31 in Portland, Oregon. And it will be a historic event as we launch our first constitutional challenge to end the male genital cutting of children, right? And we're also going to unveil our plan as to how do we work together to end the forced non-religious genital cutting of children. And we're going to introduce a program that, allows everyone to contribute, right? And so here is where you get your tickets. You can buy your ticket here in the buy ticket now. You can also go over to this little link here, and all the tickets probably cost closer to $300 a person. We're doing at $200 a person still, because this is not like, we're not even making our costs back on the tickets. And that's that's fine. Like, we just want you there. We want you to support. That's okay. We want you to support. It's okay, Ocean Birth. We want you to support. So if you click on this buy early bird ticket, you can you go to Ticket Tailor, right? That's our ticket vendor, better than Eventbrite, much cheaper, very, very functional and competent. Great. Anyway, so you want to register for the lawsuit. That costs nothing, right? That's going to be in the Courtyard Square, very public event. And then you're definitely going to want to get an early bird ticket, right? There's only 14 remaining, and we'll see. And if you have trouble affording the ticket, reach out to me. We'll see what you can do, especially if you're in the birthing industry, because we really want, these people to, we want people in the birthing industry who are talking to expectant mothers to be able to communicate why this is a problem. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, depending where you're at, but the Founders Dinner, that's sold out, right? We got all 22 tickets are spoken for. It's going to be a great event, and I wanted to do more people, but they said, look, we need to know 3 weeks in advance, and it is what it is. The tickets are sold out, unfortunately. But yeah. And then once you get, one ticket for yourself, one ticket for your friend, you click next. Again, the catering's phenomenal, and it was worth the money. You put in your name, your email, and then you put in your payment, and you're good to go. But going back to the actual conference tab, I'm just going to look at some comments real quick. Cyber Safan, sadly can't go. Been following for a while now. Gotta need a Z-plasty due to this nonsense. Gotta need a Z-plasty. Well, if you want to follow up on that comment, I actually don't know what a Z-plasty is. Maybe I should. But anyway, and Carlton says, Eric, once the lawsuit is filed, how much are you able to talk about? Eric, once the lawsuit is filed, how much are you able to talk about how it is going? Ideally, they'd live stream the actual courtroom, but that's probably not allowed, right? So because I'm in touch with some reporters now who are interested in the story, who report for major news outlets, and I told them, look, I'm happy to give you the Oregon complaint, but I'm just not ready to give it yet. We still have 3 weeks. I'll give them a few days. It's a long complaint. It's very well written. Even from the outset, you're like grabbing the table, because not only is it legally and constitutionally coherent, it's emotionally compelling. I mean, we're talking about mutilating infants and how we can stop that, right? This is a really, really dark but important human rights violation that we're addressing, right? So anyway, we could talk about it as much as you want after it's filed, and I'll probably send it to some reporters before too, and people who we are working with have seen it. It's more or less finished. It's a great legal work product. In terms of the actual, let's say, judicial proceedings, if the court allows it to be live streamed, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll ask. I have to look up the specific rules in Multnomah County regarding that. But a lot of the lawsuit will be on the pleadings in the beginning, which means there'll be written papers exchanged why the lawsuit has merit, or why, the opposition might argue why it doesn't, right? That's their job. Or they might stipulate to say, okay, we do agree that it discriminates, but, X or Y or Z. There's a lot of ways this could go. So anyway, but yeah, we're going to talk about it. It's all usually judicial proceedings are public. So if you know what you're looking for, you can pull it up, right? And I certainly do. That's what I do professionally, and I do it very well. So, I'm going to be as forthright with you as I can. Great question, Carlton. As Alex says, hello, Eric and everyone. Friends, like the stream, subscribe to Eric. That's me, Attorney Klopper. So yeah. And it says, due to webbing, too much skin was removed. I apologize for that. Best of luck, and this is great news, by the way. Yes. So anyway, I'm going back to the conference. This is the link to go to the conference, intact.global/conference. And as we can see here, Austin, great to see you on Instagram. And then this is the group rate, right? If you're getting a hotel room, which I recommend doing there because that way you're on site. The Sentinel is a great place. So this is where we're going to be, I'd say, having the press conference after we file the conference. This is the Courtyard Square, Monday, March 31st, right? And so we have a permit pending, but we said that everything should be fine. And so we'll be renting out part of the square to host our press conference, right? Anyone can go. We'll probably have complimentary coffee and croissants, or that's what it says. Croissants, something similar in value. We'll look at the local vendors and see what can be done. But for the actual conference, we're going to have 2 days, March 29 and 30. It's a Saturday and Sunday. And if you get your ticket now, join leading lawyers, activists, and thought leaders for 2 full days of presentations, engaging presentations, networking, and strategic planning. It's going to be at the Storied Sentinel Hotel, which is this right here. It's a beautiful, beautiful hotel. It was very intentionally selected. I literally got on a plane and flew from Los Angeles to Portland, Oregon, December 18 to 20 of 2024, and checked out at least 10 different venues with my lead videographer, Mark, and our Oregon point man, Brian. And this was the one that won Head and Shoulders. We have 2 catered lunches there. That's, the $200. And these are great lunches, right? It's like you have a chicken dish, a salmon dish, or a vegetarian dish to choose from. And once you buy your ticket, you'll get a Google form, shortly before the conference to pick those. And then there's going to be a dinner reception. So it's going to be a buffet. It's like the nicest option, right? So we really want it to be well catered, feel good. It's all going to be beautifully filmed, beautifully live streamed, you name it. And then we're going to have coffee and snacks throughout. And obviously I will be giving a couple speeches. That's what I do, right? But then we're going to have the board who's going to talk. We'll have other leading and activist lawyers and thought leaders. And so this is the venue, the Sentinel, right? Definitely highly vetted by me and others. It's a beautiful, beautiful venue, right? There's a reason that we picked this and not the other 9+ places that I looked at personally. Like I went to Portland and checked it out. It's got nice rooms as well. That's actually the Multnomah Whiskey Lounge, the founders dinner on Sunday, which is sold out. So but what we're talking about for the conference this is the conference, the Sentinel. Beautiful place. So anyway, that's where we're hosting it. We're going to have 2 full days of events. It's going to start on Saturday, March 29. We'll open the doors around 8 a.m. You can get coffee, talk to some old friends, meet new friends. It's going to be a big networking and strategy session. We're not here to talk about how circumcision is so bad and how we shouldn't do it. Like that's implied. That is a premise. Now, the actual objective of this meeting is how do we end it, and how do we end it soon? Not in 5 or 10 years, but in 1 to 3 years. Like we want to go now. Right. That's why we're engaging in social media. We want to expand the mission, right? We really want to make this cool, assumed, and normal to not mutilate your infant at birth, right? And the younger generations are much more on board with this. And they're the ones who we really want to convince because they're the ones having kids, right? It's the older generations who have most of the money and power, but, I'm coming for you, baby, right? We are climbing the mountain fast here at the Klopper Law Firm, let me tell you. But anyway, I'll start off with the talk. Where were we and where are we and where are we going as a movement? How do we really kind of nail this in the immediate future? Then our treasurer, Joe McCormick, is going to talk about, well, how do we fund this operation, right? Because as I say all the time, even if circumcision is a multi-billion-dollar industry of harvesting the flesh of children and then selling it to other companies, it's not going to cost us billions of dollars. Not even close. It's going to cost, a penny on the dollar of what they make, maybe probably less. Because, we're trying to protect children from harm, and we have truth and justice on our side, and they literally mutilate infants for profit, right? The opposition. So indefensible, but it continues because they operate in secrecy. There's a lot of cultural inertia and ignorance, and we're going to deal with that with public educational efforts, including this conference. Then we got Shay Johnson, good friend of mine. I spoke with him actually today. I spoke with Will today too, actually. But Shay's going to talk about, all right, how do we get people to work together, even if they might despise each other on every other issue and they disagree on everything, but they agree on protecting children from genital mutilation. which should be foundational and fundamental. Like, if I can't trust you to not mutilate an infant in your custody, how can I trust you with anything, right? That's a really good question. Ask yourself, if precious, perfect baby, and your first instinct is to start cutting into his flesh and severing his genitals, it's like, dude, there's something wrong with you, right? And so anyway, but you don't have to feel that strongly. But if you believe that we should protect children from genital mutilation, well, we want you as part of the Intact Coalition. And we don't really care what your other beliefs are, for the most part. As long as you're not harming other people, it's cool. And then we have Will Wong, another good friend of mine. He's going to talk about, okay, we've got a lot of very passionate, dedicated, and talented individuals who want this movement to prevail. How do we actually organize them, right? Like, what is the mechanics of it? What is the nitty gritty? Like, how do we allot these highly talented people? Because, I do obviously a lot of work on this, but I'm one of, many thousands and thousands and thousands of committed activists in this space alone. And, we need to recruit and deploy talented individuals in an intelligent and efficient way. And so Will's going to talk about that. It's a very important talk. Then we'll have a panel of Intact Global. You can ask us whatever questions, and we'll have a lunch. Again, the food from Jake's Catering, phenomenal. Chicken, salmon, vegetarian dish. And then you'll notice, those of you who are who have been really keyed in to my rundown of the conference every day, we're going to have Tony Lasquato after Saturday lunch, assuming the New Hampshire Senate doesn't call him in, which, who knows, but we're hoping that he'll be able to make it, and I think he will. But anyways, he's going to talk about what the work Intaction does. It's very important work. It's so far, it has it's got a huge win recently, although we still need to get it over the line. And then we have Tim Hammond, who's the director of GALDEF. He's going to talk about, okay, well, what does GALDEF do? Genital Autonomy, Legal Defense, and Education Fund. And GALDEF and Intact Global, we work together on some projects, and then we may not work together on other projects, but we're supportive. We're mutually supportive organizations, and I'm really happy he's going to be able to make it. And then we have John Geishiker, who is the executive director of DOC, who I spoke to a few days ago, and he's got a great idea, and we're going to talk about the execution of the idea and how we scale it up. We're not releasing the actual topic yet, but I know it, and I'm telling you, if we can pull it off, it's going to be a decisive victory. Decisive. And it is possible. With crisis comes opportunity. We've got a lot of movement politically right now, and we want to position ourselves in a jujitsu-like way to ensure that we protect as many children as possible from genital mutilation with this political change that are happening, baby. So John Geishiker has a talk about this, and then a new speaker, for those of you paying attention, Carrie Cantrell. And she's a great activist as well. And she's going to talk about, okay, well, what does this intactivism mean to the intersex community, right? Because that's a very important cohort, a very important part of Intact Global's mission. Is not only do we want to protect baby boys from genital cutting, and baby girls, although they are already protected in many ways, and so it's not as pressing in the U.S. I know people might say, disagree, but they'd be wrong, right? 3,000 boys are mutilated every day in the U.S., and that's like, infinitely larger than the number of girls in the U.S. But a huge problem is the intersex community. Huge percentages have big parts of their functional anatomy removed at birth for no reason, because it makes the doctor uncomfortable that, oh, well, that clitoris might be too big for my liking, so I'm going to cut it off. Like, are you out of your freaking mind? Now, Carrie can speak to these issues better than I, but she's going to talk about the intersex perspective. Anyway, and then we have Michael Abanika, good friend of mine from Uganda. He's going to make it from Uganda. I don't know if he's flying from Uganda or somewhere else, but he's got a huge network in Africa of human rights attorneys, civil rights attorneys. He does a lot of great work there. We're very grateful to have him. And then we're going to have a panel of Intact Coalition members, right? So we're going to have We're going to have a lot of people who lead different intactivist organizations get up there. We can ask, okay, what do you do at GALDEF or Intaction or DOC, or how can we work together, right? How do we support each other's efforts? Obviously, we have limited resources, but we want to deploy them collectively together in the way that protects the most children, right? And so like GALDEF, for example, is supporting the equal protection litigation, which, is great. And DOC, I'm sure, will help us with an amicus brief to educate the court, friend of the court, explain why it's so important that we protect baby boys from having large parts of their genitals removed at birth. I mean, it seems so self-evident. But there needs to be a dedicated, coordinated, effective legal effort on this. And so this is we are here. This is it, right? Intact Global Conference, right? The Klopper Law Firm. And again, I know it has my name on it, but there's Peter Adler has done incredible work, as is my law clerk, Samar Safarini. I mean, he has nailed it. I mean, the quality of their writing and legal research and application and communication, it is stunning, right? It's really, really strong. So anyway, so let's jump into some comments before. So that's day one, and then we're gonna have a great dinner. It's a great buffet. I got the best one. I know it's the most expensive, but we didn't factor it into the price of the tickets because I want to make sure you guys have a good time and you're well fed. And I'm so hungry right now just thinking about it. I was also picking it earlier today, and I haven't eaten since. So let's jump into some comments, and then we'll do day two. And those of you who there's some changes to the schedule on day two as well. Yeah, we did the updates. For those of you paying attention, I kept saying, oh, we need to update this, we need to update that. That's something else I did today too. So some comments before we go into day two. Will this allow doctors to be sued as well? If doctors start getting sued and get scared to do more circs, then that should stop them very quickly. Great point. It is harder to sue a doctor. It's usually a zero-sum game. Suing a state is different, right? It's more of like a procedural, administrative thing, like, oh, hey, this law doesn't pass muster. Go try to fix it, state legislature. It's not like a personal attack on their character or reputation or competence or wallet, right? So, and also doctors are highly regarded, and a lot of doctors do a lot of good. Now, there is also a lot of doctors who mutilate infants for profit, and that's a problem. So yeah, it would be great to sue more doctors, but it's not where we're allotting at least our limited resources, at least in Intact Global, right? If these lawsuits, there is a way that this could develop where this comment is the case, but I'm too hungry to talk about it right now. As Cyber says, I will be here if you live stream. I can support without cash, as that's something I have very little. Look, if you like the stream, if you subscribe to my channel, if you share my stream every time it's on, that alone is helpful, right? Some people have more cash than others. Some people have an incredible amount of cash that it's like stunning, right? Cash makes life a lot easier though. Changing minds is the hardest part, even more so to those with power and money. I feel like not being out loud, it should be about consent. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Maddie, great to see you again. Maddie, and you have the new emojis as well. Love the croissants. Great to hear from everyone. We're going to get through Sunday soon. So glad you're doing this, but it just seems so ridiculous. This is even an issue. Why do we mutilate anyone, right? Totally nuts. Totally nuts. As Carlton says, I know you're focused in Oregon, but have you had any contact with Europe, like Intact Denmark? I think if Europe starts banning it, people will start taking it seriously. Totally right. So here's the thing. When Denmark and Iceland, and I believe others, when they tried to ban it, America came in, probably from pressure from the outside, wink, wink, and said, look, if you do this, we're going to call you anti-Semitic. We might put in economic sanctions. We might do all this total coercive BS because it's going to make us look bad and stupid if you protect your children and we continue to mutilate ours, right? And there could be other interests that are not American at play. And so, right now, Donald Trump is the first president that I know of in my life who has literally actively defunded circumcision at all. and he's defunding it in Africa, and he may defund it in America, but we're not pushing it. It's not like this weird fetish that the Clintons had with circumcision, right? Or certainly Hillary. And so, and I think Elizabeth Warren, unfortunately, is in that camp as well. Although I could be proven wrong, I've on good authority that Elizabeth Warren is big on cutting up baby penis, which is bizarre. But so yeah, I think that once America's already affirmatively stops pushing it for the most part. So that's good, right? So it seems less likely we're going to go lean on other countries who try to protect their children. And two, when we sue Oregon and we start suing other states, it's going to be a massive active debate in this country. Oh, should we be mutilating or cutting up our children, right? And once we start debating here, it's much harder and less coherent for us to start exerting pressure on other countries. We just need to GTFO other countries who are trying to protect their kids from genital mutilation. So the reality is, I think that this is a very coherent and intelligent strategy to create the conversation and the education in the US, and that's going to spill over to other countries as well. So anyway, as Maddie says, I believe in Eric and Oceanbirth. I do as well. And John Geishiker and Brother K, Jonathan Conti, RIP. Also, we have to get you in front of rich and powerful people even for 30 minutes. Look, there are people with money at this conference, let me tell you, and they support us. I mean, we need a lot more donors, right? And even if you can donate 20, 50, $100 a month, it's not that much to many working professionals. If we get 100 people donating 100 a month, we've got full admin staff, full kind of the whole thing operates, right? And then we can run individual campaigns to sue different states. 120K a year would go a very long way. And we're not there yet. And, my law firm has fronted a lot of costs. But, we're making good progress. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen, go back to day 2, then we're going to wrap it up because we're already 30 minutes in and I am a tired person. So day 2 on Sunday, March 30, we're going to open again at 8. Martin Navoa, good friend of mine. He's new on the schedule. For those of you paying attention, he's going to give a 18-minute talk. Zenas Barr, and these are all lawyers. Zenas Barr is going to talk about difference between state and federal litigation and his experience with this about 30 years ago. Obviously, we've come an extremely long way in this movement, like a very, very long way. Peter Adler of counsel to the Clapper Law Firm, brilliant legal writer, brilliant lawyer. And he wrote the book that was best-selling on Amazon in pediatrics, Circumcision is a Fraud and the Coming Legal Reckoning. Well, here it comes, baby. Right? Here it comes. And he was the first and major architect of the lawsuit. And then Samra Saffarini was the second. And then we have Brad Kane, who I learned to litigate under in Los Angeles. He's a brilliant, he's very persuasive, and he's also a brilliant message. I would say marketer, but great. He's great at building messages that resonate. We want to equally protect every child. We want to protect every child from genital mutilation, right? We don't discriminate. And anyway, then we're going to have lunch break, chicken, salmon, or vegetarian, some type of acorn squash or something. It actually looked really good. And you'll get a form if you buy a conference ticket, which you should, because it's going to be a great conference. Then we have Deborah Ashagian, who's going to talk about the dangers of cultural conditioning. She grew up in a Jewish household like mine. She grew up in a conservative Jewish household, unlike mine. And so when she became an adult, she realized, oh my God, not only is circumcision not normal or healthy, it's actually super harmful and maims Jewish children. And I care about the welfare of Jewish kids and boys, and I want to protect them. And kudos for her for having the intelligence and, more importantly, the wisdom for recognizing that and the integrity for standing up for it. So she's amazing. She also runs a civil litigation firm in Los Angeles, as does Brad Kane, as do I. And so she's going to give a talk about her experiences. And then we have John Silla, who's the president of the American Institute of Bisexuality. And, he's done great work with that. As Dylan said, I don't want to say, okay. And then we're going to have a panel of a bunch of lawyers, so you can ask questions together. They could talk. We're going to have a strategy session. I'll do a final talk. And then we'll have our founders dinner, right? And unfortunately, that's sold out. But we have all the speakers here, their headshots. But and then here's the Multnomah for the Founders Dinner, which is sold out. I probably won't highlight it that much because you either have your ticket at this point or you don't. But yeah, and so that is the conference. Oh, and also if you're staying, you should totally stay at the Sentinel, right? We got a room block. It's $40 a night cheaper if you go with our room block, so it brings it down to about a Hilton Marriott price range. And plus, it's cool, it's unique. This is a historic moment, it's a historic movement, and this is kind of the tip of the spear, baby, right? Pun intended. And when you click on this, this link should work now. It hasn't been working for a long time. You pick your rooms. Usually, most people are going to be Friday to Monday, but you might want Saturday. Let's say Saturday to Monday or something. And there's different types of rooms available depending on what nights you pick. But yeah, so check it out. And if you drive in Saturday morning, if you're local, maybe you don't need a room Friday night. So yeah, and that is the gist of the conference. I'll take some comments and then we are going to wrap it up because it's Sunday at 9:15, and that means it's time for me to stop working for the day, and then we can start work tomorrow. So let's see some comments. Statute of limitations. Well, the statute of limitations begins to toll once you learn of the injury, right? So if you haven't learned about the harm from your circumcision for at least 2 years, you probably can sue in your state. There could be different causes of action in different states. So, it might be different. There might be a different length of statute of limitations. And if you're a minor, like in Oregon, it doesn't even begin the toll since you're 18, and our lead plaintiff is 17. So there's no potential way we could lose on the statute of limitations. Anyway, so any other comments? And a lie, they use nonprofits to launder bribery money. They pay for African mutilation and they make all the profit. I would believe that. There was an incredible amount of fraud in the government. And I'm sure mutilating Africa was part of it. So yeah, other comments we haven't hit on. Dylan, I'm very sorry to hear. But we have to protect all children from this. And it's totally super wrong what happened to you, right? And what we're going to do now is going to make it fucking illegal, right? But it's going to take some time. So yeah, what's your thought on what 4Gen is doing? Well, I think it's important that we have an organization taking it seriously and trying to, let's say, mitigate this harm with medical therapies. I think that you're going to need a lot more support than they get to make it happen. But any progress is good progress. And then when society is ready to support that effort, it will. Maddie, thanks for taking the time and energy to express your thoughts and ideas. You got it. Of course. Brother K, now that US 8 has collapsed, African men are revealing how they were hoodwinked and damaged by the USA circumcision industry, which never told them that most men in the world are not circumcised. Yeah, it's totally coercive, completely fraudulent. And a lot of them think, oh, I can't get HIV now that I'm circumcised. And so they're engaging in high-risk behavior and getting HIV. It was a total disaster. But as a previous commenter said, well, there was definitely some people who were friends of probably the Clintons who were enriching themselves big time off of government, the public taxpayer. And I'm glad those are getting slashed, right? Maddie, you will be glorious. Dylan, you don't need salmon. Don't worry. Maddie will eat your salmon and he'll like it. I mean, the salmon will be great. So anyway, Eric needs rest, everyone. You heard it from Maddie first. I need my rest. So we're going to, so did Dylan. Statute of limitations for different laws. What is the statute for sex violence? Well, it depends what state you're in, right? And there's different types of statutes for different types of sexual violence. So that is the answer to your question, John, is it depends. And I just, without more, I can't tell you. And it takes time to research these. And I think a lot of viewers would say, you know what? I don't want to watch a lawyer do live research. So, anyway, it's a good question. It just depends. Dylan, I want justice as you should, and you deserve it. But NLI, you are my people. Hope I sleep well. My circumcision's obviously messed up. So how can I get checked by a doctor and evaluation? They act like they don't see it, and I serve in the military. So, well, once it's damaged, either a regular circumcision or a botched one, there's nothing you can do. I mean, like, yeah, you can do some things to mitigate it, but that's really important tissue. It's like cutting off an individual's eyelids and saying, deal with it. Like, you're going to have diminished function for the rest of your life, and it's going to be a traumatic event. But, we don't have to get too morbid. The reality is we're here to win. We're here to win this battle to protect all our children from genital mutilation. And if you're passionate about this, you can swing it. Attend Intact Global's March 29 to 31 conference in Portland, Oregon, right? It's going to be dope. It's going to be great. It's going to be well attended. I know because I have the metrics, and a lot of stuff is already sold out, but the tickets are not. So get your early bird ticket. Good night, everybody. I'm going to go eat dinner and go to sleep and then begin my, 8th consecutive work week in a row, right? But, we go hard at the Klopper Law Firm. And that goes more so for the children we are seeking to protect from genital mutilation. So get your ticket now, intact.global/conference. That is going to be the final post that we are going to post up here. This is the URL. Thank you so much, Intactivists. Good night, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate that, Carlton. So everyone, go get your ticket now. Oh, I'm sorry. That is actually the incorrect link. See, I am tired, right? Hopefully it's some billionaire Frank and beans. That's, maybe a billionaire. If I was a billionaire, dude, I'd fund this. No, I would I would want oversight, and I appreciate that. And Intact Global's full disclosure, right? But the reality is we're going to need to show some competence yet, and this is going to be an extreme show of competence. This is a formidable operation, and we're here to win. Right. So anyway, I'm going to get some rest though, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing many of you at the conference. All right. Have a good night, everyone.